Ever feel like you're drowning in a sea of interests? Like you're just scattered? Well, this one's for you. We're going to flip that script and show you why that feeling is actually your secret weapon for the future. Yeah? Does this scene look a little too familiar? The guitar collecting dust, the half-finished code, that sudden burning desire to learn something completely new. And with it comes that specific kind of shame, you know? The world tells you you're a dilettante, that you lack focus, that you just need to pick a lane. You end up feeling like a total fraud just because you're curious about, well, everything. And this is probably the little voice in your head, right? The phrase we all use to beat ourselves up. A jack of all trades is a master of none. It's the cultural script we've all been handed. And it sounds so wise, doesn't it? But here's the thing. It's only half the story. That's the rest of it. The full quote is, but oftentimes better than a master of one. Just let that sink in for a second. What if having all those skills isn't your biggest weakness, but your greatest strength? What if it makes you more adaptable, more valuable than the specialist? That's the big idea we're diving into right now. Okay, so where does all this anxiety even come from? Let's be super clear about this. It is not a personal failing. It is not your fault. It's a symptom of trying to play by a rulebook that is completely out of date. See, for the last century or so, the world was what you'd call a kind learning environment. Think of a game like golf. The rules are fixed, they don't change, you practice your swing, you get better, you win. Simple. But the world we live in now, it's a wicked environment. The rules are changing constantly, sometimes literally overnight. The winning strategy from yesterday might be totally useless tomorrow. And back in that old, kind world, the blueprint for success was to be I-shaped. You know, like the letter I. You pick one thing, one specialty, and you just dig one hole a mile deep. You become the go-to expert in that super narrow field, and boom, you are set. The system rewarded you for it. But here's the massive problem, right? What happens when that one hole you've spent your entire life digging suddenly becomes obsolete? In this new wicked world, if your whole career, your whole identity is built around that one deep specialty and it vanishes, well, you're not just out of a job. You're fragile. You're completely stuck. So now for the cool part. Let's talk about how your brain has secretly been training you for this exact moment. All that stuff that looks like chaos from the outside, you know, jumping from cooking to coding to philosophy, it's not chaos at all. It's actually a highly sophisticated survival strategy. The secret sauce here is a concept from psychology called far transfer. Now, specialists are amazing at something called near transfer. That's solving the same type of problem over and over. But far transfer, that's a different beast. It's the rare ability to take an idea from one field and apply it to a totally unrelated one. It's where real game-changing innovation comes from. Let's make this totally concrete. Imagine a web developer who used to be a farmer. Sounds random, right? On paper, those skill sets have zero overlap. But that farmer's deep, intuitive grasp of how organic systems work, of seasons and growth and interconnectedness, that's invaluable. They don't just write lines of code, they cultivate a digital ecosystem. They see how it all grows together. That's a perspective a pure specialist might never, ever have. And all of this brings us to the real shape of your potential. You've probably heard people talk about being T-shaped. It's a popular idea. But for people like us, it just doesn't quite fit. You're not a T, you're an M. So a T-shaped person has that broad knowledge base and one deep specialty. It's good, but an M-shaped person, now that's you. You have multiple pillars of deep expertise. Not just one, but several. And the most important part, it's that bridge connecting them, your unique gift for pulling ideas from all your different worlds and weaving them together. Your superpower isn't in any one pillar, it's in the space between them. Okay, I can hear you now. This sounds great, but I'm exhausted. I feel like I'm constantly starting over and always behind. And I get it. The secret isn't to do everything all at once. The real art is to master them sequentially. This is the key, serial mastery. You don't build all the pillars of your M at the same time. You build one pillar, you make it strong, and then you move to the next. It's about giving yourself permission to have seasons in your life where you go deep on one thing at a time. So what does this actually look like in real life? Well, maybe your 20s were your music and art season. You went all in. Then, in your 30s, you pivoted and went deep into programming. Here's the shift in mindset. You didn't quit art, you just finished building that pillar. And then maybe in your 40s, you merge those skills into something completely new, something only you could possibly create. All right, let's lock this whole idea in with one last really powerful concept. Having an M-shaped mind isn't just good for your career or your creativity, it is a fundamental survival trait, and we can see its power all over the natural world. In nature, having backups or redundancy is everything. It's strength, not waste. For instance, elephants almost never get cancer because they have multiple extra copies of cancer-fighting genes. If one copy fails, another one just kicks in. Now think about your collection of skills. That is your redundancy. If one of your jobs gets automated, you have other skills ready to go. You're not scattered, you're unbreakable, you're bulletproof. So that graveyard of hobbies we talked about at the beginning, it's time to see it for what it truly is. It was never a graveyard. It was your own private university. Every single one of those interests wasn't a failure. It was a course you took, a semester you completed. And that's really the bottom line here. You were never, ever meant to be just one thing. That intense pressure you felt to specialize was a trap. Your natural curiosity wasn't a flaw. It was your mind trying to build the perfect toolkit for the world as it is, not as it used to be. So own it. Embrace it. Your real superpower isn't mastering a single domain. It's seeing the connections, the patterns, the bridges between worlds that other people don't even know exist. You are the innovator, the synthesizer, the one who can solve the wicked problems that leave the specialists totally stumped.